Welcome to another full walkthrough of the horrific vision of Stormwind as a Brewmaster Monk in ilevel 644. I have a full set of gear, but it's all LFR level gear. I have one good piece of loot, and that is my main hand, which is ilevel 658. That's probably all my gear, and we're going to hit 4 chests, so it's going to be 3 objectives. We're going to hit 3 different districts. This is day 2 horrific visions becoming available in the patch, so yep, it is going to push the limits, and we're going to work with only the first tier of the hourglass of horrific vision upgrades unlocked. So we have 10% reduction of the sanity drain, we have increase of the capacity of our sanity by 50, and we have increase of our damage by 5% and decrease of incoming damage by 5% as well. So just the first tier of the hourglass is unlocked at this stage. No Twilight Devastation yet. Spoiler alert, I'm going to get it at the end of this. I had enough finally of the currency. But at the moment, we are starting just like in the very first guide. So I am pushing the limits, obviously. I'm doing the fun for me is in pushing this in not exorbitant item level to start with. It's only, and it's a Brewmaster Monk, only with ilevel 644, as well as I'm gonna try and get there as early as I can. Not later when every single upgrade of the hourglass is available. It's gonna be easy then. Right now is not easy, and that's where it's fun, and maybe you're like me, and you would like to push yourself a little bit as a monk this time around, not as a retribution paladin as I've done the first time. Alright. Enough said, but we're already in action. You already have been watching me run through the Cathedral Square and going straight to the Dwarven District. One thing that you will see is going to be different from the very first run that I did on day 1, like first 5 minutes into the game when the feature became available finally. In patch 11.1.5 is that I'm going to take a chance and drink one of those random portions of the colorful liquids that are kind of scattered around the map. So if you pay attention, you will see that there is a liquid kind of vial of mysterious liquid available. It's right there in front, it's right here, the red one on the left. So you will see, maybe not at this current second, but I'm going to come back to it, and I'm going to take a punt, and I'm going to drink it. So what can happen there, let me tell you. So first of all, they can restore your sanity. These vials, they can also give you a beneficial buff, such as breathing fire randomly and doing kind of, it's a minor increase to your DPS basically. Or it could decrease, you could take a hit by drinking it, it could like do a poisonous effect, and it could actually decrease your sanity. So it's a bit of a random chance. Yes, the odds are in your favor when you drink one of these vials, so you would either have the best of them all, that is restoration of your sanity, or you get some beneficial buff. So that's obviously great, but it's a risk. Why I recommend that if you're trying to push yourself like I do here, for both fun purposes as well as just you know, efficiency of the run, why I do recommend that you try and just pick a vial and try your luck, right? Is because right now, and that's one good thing, well, not one good thing, but one of the good things that they've done in this version of Horrific Visions Returned, is that there is no currency required anymore to enter the vision. So what's the worst thing that can happen if you're trying to push yourself and trying to have a record? Let's drink this liquid now. Boom, I was lucky. It was purely luck, but 100 sanity is actually going to make a difference later in the run. You will see it, so just stick around, right? So why? Because if you're pushing yourself, you're trying to be at the peak performance, mate, what's the worst that can happen? Let's say this thing hurt you right now. Well, you're just going to flop the vision, you're going to restart the run, and you're going to go again. That is if you're trying to push yourself. So that's the worst that can happen, which is why I do think that sometimes giving it a chance and trying the liquid is like, this a little bit of a Russian roulette is going to pay off. I spend so much time talking about the liquids because that is kind of the new thing, I suppose, compared to the very first video that I published, where I also pushed myself very first minute with practically only one upgrade on the 3 chest run of my Retribution Paladin. If you're interested in that, check that out. But the vials are a difference. It's a difference here. And as you can see, I've cleared also on this slightly higher item level monk, I've cleared this district better. It was more efficient if you've been paying attention in the background, and luckily here I also had a very good cooldown of the Touch of Death available to me, so I could actually save a few seconds there, killing the boss of the Dwarven district with one hit. That's wonderful. That's a bit of a cheat that monks have, and I think that's great. Overall, I'd say, especially the burst of this Brewmaster Monk is a lot lower than of my Paladin, but the sustainable DPS and ability to pull more of the mobs without the fear of being actually overwhelmed and being killed is better. I'd say it's better. Not to mention again that this Brewmaster Monk simply has higher item level. I actually quite love these days Brewmaster Monk when I play it. Now we're entering the trade district. We're still on we only used one orb of sanity restoration, which I think I've used pretty well on top of the boss and all that kind of stuff. And we have still two available. So I'm trying to stretch, obviously, these runs and make the pulls as optimized as possible, even though I'm still very rusty. You know, I'm only just returning to Horrific Visions, which used to be my favorite feature of the patch 8.3 when they first came out. And now we are years and years and years later. Construct of Soridormo, let's talk about that a little bit, because over here there is nothing super new. So if you watched my very first, again, a video guide, which I think you should if you're taking it seriously, then I'd say there is nothing super new. I'll only mention to you that you need to blast this guy as quickly as you can. In case you didn't watch that first video, he's going to shoot a Void Beam and it's going to tick for a lot of damage on you if you don't shut him down as quickly as you can. That beam, that exact beam, it's unpleasant. I actually didn't shut him down quickly enough here. And see, 15 sanity per tick. But then there is a 50 sanity restoration. Construct of Soridormi. I think she's helping. I didn't run a particularly kind of pedantic, very focused test in terms of how much exactly DPS she's contributing, but I think she contributes quite a lot. And here again, being in a tanking spec, and to optimize this bit, I'm pulling all of the trash straight away, because I know that I will have to go back there and click on the cages after I deal with the boss. So that is just a little bit of an optimization, because every second counts here, everything costs sanity. That's why I did it, in case you're wondering. So I basically pulled everything, and then I'm pulling Slave Master Ulrok. Slave Master Ulrok, again, somehow to me, he's a lot less annoying than the humanoid guy who we already killed over here with that Void Beam. But, you know, if you let him pull you all the way, I think it stuns you, and it does also sanity damage, which is not going to be pretty. But we shut him down pretty quickly. I could have probably killed him there much quicker. Luckily, also, Touch of Death is back off cooldown, because, as you will see in a second, as I find out very quickly, I actually didn't pull one of the mobs in that close to the Stormwind bank, in that little nook over there. We're going to come back there in a second. And luckily, the Touch of Death is going to be available off cooldown, which is a wonderful, beautiful cheat that monks have. So let's click on all these cages. Unsurprisingly, I'm running pretty low on sanity, as you can see, but because I'm planning after here to go to the old town and deal with a much more intense corruption drain. And here we go. We execute him very quickly, and we're gonna get the hell out of here. Over here, I could have used the orb, but instead there was a red liquid. See? This is where it mattered. This is where it gave me those few seconds, which, I don't know, let's watch this until the end, if it actually made a difference that I didn't activate the orb straight away. But you would agree, it's good, I don't know, what, 10, maybe 15, good 10-15 seconds of me not having to spend the timing of this sanity restoration orb that I basically did for free. As you can see, once again, I pointed it out in the first video, I am playing it very aggressively and very trying to be efficient, but also quite risky. I'm doing it very risky. If you're just learning the vision, mate, you don't need 4 chests on day 2 of the feature becoming available. You don't. It is only if you're trying to push yourself and entertain yourself this way. And that's really what I'm doing here and sharing with you, that it is possible. It is possible. And once again, 644, by now, especially if you've been preparing and playing and pushing delves and like gearing up properly before the feature became available to basically make sure that you can push as far as you can and as high as you can in the horrific vision straight away, you would have a much higher item level than I do. Like, this is nothing to write home about, and my retribution paladin is even lower. So it's not like these days it feels kinda, I like it still, I still like it, but it's not as hard a content as it used to be. And I hope that after this run, when we're going to finish the quest called Borrowed Corruption, when we're going to apply a devastation effect, a corruption effect, which is going to be Twilight Devastation, it's a corruption of my choice, to the helmet, then subsequent runs are going to be even easier, even better, in my humble opinion. So that's going to be great. What are we going to do next? So we are in Old Town. You saw it all on the screen in real time as I was talking to you about other things. So we are again trying to pull as much as possible and not stand in crap, obviously. And we are saving the Restoration Corp. We are saving it because the fight with Matthias Shaw that is going to happen just there behind those gates, it can be ugly because, not because of him, not because of the boss himself, but because of the eye that follows him, and he spawns these eyes. If you look into the eyes, and when you're sort of trying to dodge stuff on the ground, when you're kind of trying to, get through, it's hard not to look into this eye of chaos. It's hard not to see. Like, you have to be, at best, you have to be sideways to it. But sometimes when you're retracing your steps, when you're stepping back, you kind of, there is a possibility that you would look into the eye and lose a bit of sanity, quite a bit actually, because it ticks pretty fast. And now we're porting to Portal District. We have no sanity restoration orbs left, but we are almost on the full bar. What's gonna make this fight a little less trivial is that now, because we killed Matthias, and as you can see, targets are eliminated, only one remaining for another time, for probably next week. Eye of Chaos, she now gained Eye of Chaos as a little helper, Santa's little helper. And that Eye of Chaos is annoying, especially because you've already seen it. She does a lot of stuff on the ground. It's very hard to stand. Those barrels, those dynamites, they are movable. You can click on them. But it's harder to do in the clutch. It really is harder to do. You will see it very shortly if you start practicing it yourself. So my movement here, admittedly, is inefficient. I looked into the eye. I lost quite a bit of sanity in one go. Like right there, I don't know what blast caused it, but you saw it on the screen. It was like an immediate loss of 240 sanity. That's a big, massive chunk. She must have hit me with something, because that was not just from the eye. But anyway, that eye repositions itself. As you saw, it teleports. So pay attention, which is why you see me often look at the ground. It's a little bit easier to navigate yourself when you kind of look from the top. So you see exactly where the eye is, you see exactly what angle she's taking. So I'm trying to hide behind the pillars, and I'm trying to be sideways to the eye at best. And take note that at this item level and at this kind of level of efficiency, and me being a bit rusty, more than half of your sanity bar has been spent on the fight with her. So that is another helpful tip for you, because if you're looking at can I do it, can I not do it, well, use my example here to know that you will need more than half a bar to defeat Alyria. Alright, 4 chests as promised. Day 2 of me being exposed to the feature being back. Only first tier of the Hourglass upgrades unlocked. All 3 of them are unlocked, but just the first tier. And I'm very happy with this. I hope so are you, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed this. Give the video a like. Let me know if you enjoy these little guides. I'm going to continue producing them for you because I love horrific visions. And I'm back in WoW at least for the next month. Resubscribed, showing you my gear again. And goodbye for now, my friends.